Over the years, I've come to realize that Ronaldo and Messi have been excessively celebrated, to the extent that people have begun treating them unfairly. Some argue that we should appreciate both of them, and I agree with that viewpoint. However, their careers are so extraordinary that we often fail to fully comprehend their greatness. They have provided us with years of entertainment, constantly surpassing what we thought was possible. They deserve to have their story told, not just through statistics or individual moments, but in its entirety. Let's take Cristiano Ronaldo, for example. He is in excellent shape, which is expected and absolutely brilliant. But his story begins even before he was born. In the late 1960s, his father, who had Cape Verdean heritage, had to undergo mandatory military service. He left Angola, where he had to fight against locals demanding independence from Portugal. The conditions for the soldiers were appalling. They lacked drinking water, food supplies often rotted, and they were left to starve. Moreover, they were unprepared to face the diseases prevalent in Africa, and many died from malaria. For 18 months, his father lived amidst death and suffering. Eventually, Angola won the war, and he returned home to a different Portugal, which had fallen into an economic abyss due to exhausting its resources in the war. Job opportunities were scarce, and he found himself wandering the streets of Madeira, consumed by his own despair. Gradually, he developed a drinking problem, which escalated into full-blown alcoholism. Over the next decade, he had 3 children with his wife and managed to find a job as a gardener, as well as a side gig as a caretaker for the local club, Unhuman. The family faced a major crisis when Ronaldo became pregnant for the 4th time. They concluded that they couldn't afford to have another child due to their dire financial situation. Ronaldo discussed the possibility of having an abortion with her doctor, but he disagreed. However, she believed that there was no way to bring this child into the world, so she took matters into her own hands. As she later recounted, she attempted to induce an abortion by consuming as much South Pear, a type of herb, as possible and engaging in rigorous exercise until her body could no longer bear the fatigue. However, her attempts failed, and on February 5, 1985, at 10:20 a.m. in the city of Soundpier, in Madeira, a baby boy was born. They named him Cristiano Ronaldo. Dolores decided to keep and raise the baby, believing that she failed to terminate the pregnancy because God had a great destiny in store for her child. Despite entering the world, Cristiano's life was as challenging as Dolores had anticipated. The family struggled to make ends meet each month, living in a small home without electricity, where Cristiano shared a room with his 3 siblings. On Christmas, he received no gifts. So, like most Portuguese kids, Ronaldo took to the streets to play football with the local children. Despite being exceptionally talented, the other kids would mockingly call him soaring, roughly translating to cry baby in English, as he would get frustrated whenever they couldn't meet his high standards. Observing this, his parents took him to Unhuman, where his love for football flourished. It reached a point where he carried a ball with him wherever he went. This display of passion made his talent even more remarkable among the other children, eventually earning him another nickname. They began calling him Abligno or Little V in English due to his small stature compared to other kids, but also because he was incredibly fast. Less than 3 years later, in 1995, Nacional, one of the biggest clubs in Madeira, signed him after hearing about this exceptional young talent from one of their scouts, who coincidentally happened to be his godfather. His time at Nacional served as a testament to his extraordinary abilities. He was promoted to the academy team, where he ended up playing alongside kids 3 years older than him. To everyone's surprise, he not only held his own but also became the captain of his team. The news spread across the island, which had never before produced a player of such caliber who could be called up for the national team. A prodigious talent had arrived, destined to conquer the world. A local man with strong sporting connections was introduced to Ronaldo and was so impressed by his skills that he immediately contacted Ili Prada, a scout for Sporting CP, asking if Ronaldo could have a tryout. Prada agreed, but with one condition: Ronaldo had to travel to Lisbon that same day. At the age of 12, after speaking with his mother, Ronaldo made the decision to leave his humble roots and pursue his dream. He arrived at the training session, knowing that he was being tested. It was perhaps one of the first instances where Ronaldo showcased his ability to thrive under pressure, performing magnificently among the academy players, so much so that the professional players on the adjacent field paused their training to watch him play. It left the club speechless, and he was immediately signed on the spot, which marked a turning point in his life. However, this meant he had to make the most significant sacrifice yet, leaving his family at the age of 12 and living alone at Sporting CP's academy, hoping to make it big one day. Coming from Aveira, Cristiano had a thick accent, which became a target for relentless mockery. Feeling depressed, He was eventually sent back to Madeira during his first year at the academy because the coaches believed he couldn't focus while feeling so down. Back in Madeira, his family expressed how much he meant to them, encouraging him to ignore those who wished to see him fail. A young Ronaldo realized that his potential could not be wasted. The following year, he persevered and returned to Sporting CP, where the other players became like family to him. Being an 11-year-old academy player for one of the biggest Portuguese clubs may sound like a dream to many, and it certainly is, but the conditions were still far from ideal. The rooms were small, and Ronaldo disliked them, so he would only use them for sleep. His days were spent either on the pitch training or wandering the streets of Lisbon. Money was tight during his early years there, to the point where he and his friends would visit the local McDonald's late at night, asking employees for any leftover burgers they had. Two of his most challenging years came when he turned 14. Despite the positive environment at the academy, he still faced bullying at school. He tried to ignore them and remain calm, but one day, a teacher mocked his accent in front of the class. This triggered Ronaldo, who responded with anger. However, instead of realizing the inappropriateness of his statements, the teacher doubled down and insulted Ronaldo's family for being poor. In a fit of rage, Ronaldo threw a chair at the teacher and was expelled the same day. He discussed the incident with his mother, and from that conversation, another significant decision emerged. Ronaldo chose to leave school and focus full-time on his football career. This placed immense pressure on him, but he couldn't allow himself to fail. He had to give it his all. Just as he was determined to push through, something out of his control nearly derailed his life. At the age of 15, Ronaldo was diagnosed with a racing heart syndrome. This meant his heart would race even when he was at rest. How could he endure the physical demands of football without jeopardizing his life? That same week, Ronaldo underwent surgery. Imagine being a 15-year-old boy who had just left his hometown, dropped out of school, and chased his dream, only to have that single glimmer of hope potentially taken away. Fortunately, the surgery went smoothly, and within a few days, he was back to training. Over the years, Ronaldo had proven his worth time and time again, progressing through the ranks of the academy, always playing with older players. This led to numerous call-ups to the youth national teams, where he scored a total of 18 goals in 34 appearances across different age groups. When he turned 16, he became eligible to play professionally, and Sporting CP's coach at the time, Laszlo Belloni, was not willing to let that opportunity go to waste. Ronaldo became the first ever player to represent the under-16, under-17, under-18, B team, and first team all in one season. His league debut for Sporting CP came in 2002, a few months after his 17th birthday, in a match against Moreirense. Ronaldo entered the game and scored a goal almost immediately, although it was ruled offside. He tested the goalkeeper's reflexes again later and, before the end of the game, showcased his incredible skill by dribbling past multiple Moreirense players and scoring his first competitive goal, adding a second goal in the final minutes of the match. He finished the season with the third highest goals per minute ratio, despite playing as an attacking midfielder. His performances caught the attention of many European clubs, including Manchester United, who expressed interest in signing him and then loaning him back to Sporting CP to continue his development. However, his fate would be sealed on August 6, 2003. Sporting CP had built a new stadium in preparation for Euro 2004, and they invited Manchester United to play a friendly match for its inauguration. It is difficult to put into words what transpired that day. Ronaldo was a man on a mission. He looked simply unstoppable, an 18-year-old terrorizing the Manchester United defense. He provided his first assist by the 25th minute, and by half-time, he was the talk of the Manchester United locker room. The second half was equally impressive. Before the match concluded, he created a chance for the third Sporting CP goal as they defeated Manchester United 3-1. On the flight back home, the Manchester United players recounted stories of the Portuguese wonder kid they had just witnessed, urging Sir Alex Ferguson to sign him. And just 6 days later, Ronaldo arrived in Manchester, becoming the first ever Portuguese player to be signed by Manchester United. At a price tag of £13 million, he became the most expensive teenager in English football history, surpassing the previous record held by Porsche East in Asia, who was bought by Newcastle for £800,000. While Ronaldo was being shown around the facilities and dealing with administrative matters, he was asked to choose his shirt number. Initially, he chose the number 28, but then Sir Alex Ferguson personally spoke to him and requested that he wear the number 7. This choice foreshadowed what was to come. Sir Alex saw in Ronaldo the potential that the world would witness a few years later. Ronaldo embraced the challenge and joined the ranks of football legends like George Best, Eric Cantona, and more recently, David Beckham, who carried the weight of the number 7 on their backs. Only 4 days after signing his contract with Manchester United, Cristiano stepped onto the Old Trafford pitch for his first match as a Red Devil. A crowd of 67,000 people cheered from the stands as, in the 60th minute, Sir Alex looked back at the bench and asked Ronaldo to prepare himself. The 18-year-old replaced Nicky Butts, with dyed blonde streaks around his ankles and wearing silver or 9 mercurial vapor boots. As he chewed gum, he confidently stepped onto the pitch, marking the beginning of another fairy tale. Cristiano utterly dominated the opposition with an endless display of skills. His footwork was so fast that it seemed to surpass the capabilities of the human mind. His confidence was unwavering, evident when, in stoppage time, he requested that Phil Neville step aside so he could take a free kick. By the end of the match, George Best described it as the most exhilarating debut he had ever seen. In the following weeks, Ronaldo's life was a whirlwind of significant moments. Just 4 days after his debut for Manchester United, he made his debut for the Portuguese national team in a 1-0 victory over Kazakhstan. During his first season, he made 40 appearances, mostly as a substitute, managing 4 goals and assists. He also made his debut in the UEFA Champions League against Stuttgart, but unfortunately, United was eliminated in the round of 16 by Porto, who went on to win the competition. His last 2 matches of the season stood out. He scored in both, receiving his first red card in a league game against Aston Villa and winning his first trophy by scoring the opening goal in the Africa Cup final. As the summer arrived, Cristiano faced another significant challenge. He was called up to represent Portugal in Euro 2004, which was the first European Championship held in Portugal. Imagine being 19 years old and boarding a bus that would traverse your homeland. Inside the bus, you would be surrounded by Ballon d'Or winners and football legends known worldwide. Outside the bus, thousands of fans would swarm, no matter how far from the stadium you were. Euro 2004 marked one of the most enchanting and memorable moments in Portuguese football. The entire nation rallied together as Portugal advanced through the tournament, and it truly felt like they had 12 players on the pitch. Ronaldo, far from an ordinary young man, refused to crumble under pressure. In the first game against Greece, he came off the bench and scored Portugal's only goal in a losing effort. In the subsequent match against Russia, Ronaldo once again entered as a substitute and assisted in the team's second goal, securing a victory. In the final group stage match, Portugal defeated Spain with Ronaldo in the starting lineup. And just like that, Portugal found themselves 3 matches away from potentially becoming European champions on their home turf. The quarter-final match started in the worst possible way, with Michael Owen putting England ahead just 3 minutes into the game. Both teams fought hard for 80 minutes until Helder Postiga, who came off the bench, equalized. The game went into extra time, and the drama didn't end there. Rui Costa scored 10 minutes before the end, but Portugal couldn't hold on to their lead as Frank Lampard leveled the score. The match was decided by penalties. David Beckham missed the first penalty, and then Rui Costa missed as well. Portugal advanced to the semi-finals, where they would meet the Netherlands. This turned out to be Ronaldo's best match of the tournament, as Portugal emerged victorious with a 2-1 scoreline, thanks to Ronaldo's opening goal and assist. At the age of 19, Ronaldo had propelled Portugal to their first ever major final. However, they ultimately lost in the final, and Cristiano's pursuit of perfection became evident to everyone. Overwhelmed by disappointment, he broke down in tears on the pitch, seemingly impervious to the consolation of his teammates. In the press conference, he promised the Portuguese people that he would make up for the letdown. His second season at Manchester United followed a similar trajectory to the first, with little success in terms of trophies, except for winning the League Cup. Nevertheless, Ronaldo exhibited numerous moments of brilliance. The most iconic among them was during a match against Arsenal in 2000. Patrick Vieira scored the opening goal for Arsenal after 9 minutes, but Ryan Giggs equalized, and then Thierry Henry put Arsenal back in the lead. Just before halftime, Ronaldo got into a confrontation with Thierry Henry, as he refused to return the ball when it went out of bounds. This incited the Arsenal fans, and they directed their animosity towards Ronaldo for the rest of the match. Ronaldo famously said, "Your love makes me strong, but your hate makes me unstoppable," and he demonstrated his unstoppable nature. Within 4 minutes, he scored 2 goals, putting Manchester United in the lead. It was an incredible feat for a 19-year-old, and he celebrated by gesturing for the Arsenal fans to remain silent. The following season proved to be challenging for Ronaldo. He frequently found himself in trouble. In the UEFA Champions League, Manchester United travelled to Lisbon to face their rivals, Benfica, who subjected Ronaldo to their customary taunting. To compound matters, Benfica defeated Manchester United, resulting in their elimination from the Champions League group stage for the first time in a decade. Ronaldo's frustration reached a boiling point, and he responded by raising his middle finger to the opposing fans. He was subsequently substituted in the 67th minute and received a one-match ban for his actions. During this time, he was also embroiled in unfounded rape allegations, which would haunt him for over a decade. Additionally, Ronaldo received a red card in a Manchester derby for kicking former United player Andy Cole. It was also the first clash between Ronaldo and Ruud van Nistelrooy, which was likely not Ronaldo's fault, as Van Nistelrooy was known for his problematic behavior and envy towards Ronaldo, who had taken his spot in the team over the past few years. You may be wondering about the origins of this erratic behavior, and if we examine the timeline of Ronaldo's life, we can clearly identify a significant event that directly preceded it: the death of his father. Ronaldo has mentioned that he barely knew his father, who was an avid drinker and succumbed to liver damage at the young age of 52. Ronaldo's father had dreams of witnessing his son's success, which sheds light on the source of Ronaldo's desire to prove himself. He likely hoped to steer his father away from the destructive path he was on, but unfortunately, it was too late, and Ronaldo had to move on with his life. That summer, Ronaldo received his first call-up for the World Cup, a milestone in his career. Portugal easily won their group matches, and Ronaldo scored his first World Cup goal against Iran. Once again, they faced the Netherlands, but this match, known as the Battle of Nuremberg, was infamous for its extreme violence. Dutch defender Khalid Boulahrouz injured Ronaldo, resulting in his early exit from the pitch. The Portuguese players vehemently retaliated against the excessive foul, leading to a never-ending sequence of bookings, including 4 red cards, setting records for the competition. If you thought the drama couldn't escalate further in the next round, you were mistaken. Portugal faced England in the quarterfinals, where Ronaldo pleaded with the referee to send off his Manchester United teammate, Rooney, leading to a confrontation between them on the pitch. This incident, coupled with Ronaldo's perceived arrogance as he winked at the bench, made him public enemy number 1 in England. Nonetheless, Portugal emerged victorious and reached the semi-finals, where they faced France. Portugal dominated the match, outshooting their opponents and maintaining possession. However, a momentary lapse by Ricardo Carvalho resulted in a penalty for France, which they converted. This was particularly hard for Portuguese fans to digest, as they believed there should have been a penalty awarded to Portugal earlier in the match. Back in England, Ronaldo faced immense hatred, which took a toll on him, especially as his manager Alex Ferguson did not defend him. This led to a crucial decision by Ronaldo to publicly announce his desire to leave Manchester United for either Real Madrid or Barcelona. Ferguson was forced to intervene and had a private conversation with Ronaldo, eventually convincing him to stay for another season. It became clear that this was one of the best decisions Ronaldo could have made. He entered the new season with renewed determination, showing up to preseason training in impressive physical shape, far from the scrawny kid he used to be known as. Despite the ongoing drama, Ronaldo excelled on the pitch, nearly doubling his previous goal-scoring record. He won consecutive Player of the Month awards and had a seemingly improved relationship with Rooney, which propelled Manchester United to win the Premier League title and reach the semi-finals of the Champions League, where they were defeated by the formidable AC Milan. This brings us to the 2007-2008 season, during which Ronaldo's form reached new heights. By the end of 2007, he had achieved 40 goal contributions in 50 games, earning him second place in the Ballon d'Or rankings, just behind Kaká. However, Ronaldo was never satisfied with second place. He continued to push himself throughout the season, scoring his first ever hat-trick against Newcastle and delivering a memorable free-kick goal against Portsmouth in the Premier League. In the Champions League, he played a pivotal role, scoring 5 goals in the group stage. Ronaldo's goal in the last 16 against Lyon turned the tie in their favor, and they went on to defeat Roma 3-0 on aggregate in the quarterfinals. The semi-finals saw them face Barcelona, the only team Ronaldo failed to score against in that campaign. Despite this, Manchester United emerged as winners with a narrow margin, as Ronaldo's contributions over the 2 legs were crucial. It was time for the Champions League final, where Manchester United faced Chelsea in the first ever final between 2 English teams. Ronaldo wasted no time in showcasing his determination, scoring the first goal of the match with a magnificent header. Manchester United dominated the game, but Chelsea managed to equalize against the flow of play. The match ended in a draw and was decided by a penalty shootout. Unfortunately, Ronaldo missed his penalty, but Manchester United eventually emerged as champions, thanks to goalkeeper Van der Sar's crucial save. Years of hard work and mental fortitude had paid off for Ronaldo as he became the champion of Europe, the top scorer of the Champions League, and the player of the match in the final. Domestically, he led Manchester United to a second consecutive Premier League title and set a new record for the most goals in a Premier League season with 31, despite missing 3 matches due to a suspension. In total, Ronaldo contributed to 51 goals in 49 matches across all competitions that year. He was on the verge of winning all major individual awards, securing his first Ballon d'Or with a significant lead over Lionel Messi in second place. This intense rivalry between Ronaldo and Messi would continue in subsequent years. Ronaldo's next challenge awaited him at the Euros, where he would captain the Portuguese national team for the first time. This tournament held great significance for him, as he also inherited the number 7 shirt previously worn by the retired Luís Figo. However, the tournament did not go as planned, and Portugal was eliminated by Germany in the quarterfinals, losing 3-2. During this period, Real Madrid initiated discussions with Ronaldo, causing Manchester United to take legal action to prevent his departure. Eventually, Ronaldo and the club reached an agreement, and he promised the fans his unwavering commitment to defend the Champions Trophy. Unfortunately, he started the season with an injury, missing 11 games due to a fractured kneecap. Nevertheless, Ronaldo made a powerful comeback, scoring 2 amazing goals in a single match for the first time in his career. Real Madrid went on to win the Club World Cup, with Ronaldo providing an assist in the final. In the Champions League, they displayed their strength once again, defeating Inter Milan with Ronaldo scoring a crucial goal. In the semi-finals, they faced Porto, and Ronaldo's extraordinary goal from a great distance became one of the most insane goals witnessed in the Champions League. Ronaldo was awarded the Puskás Award for that goal. Ultimately, they reached the final, facing Barcelona, and Ronaldo's move to Real Madrid was inevitable. He became the most expensive footballer in the world with a transfer fee of €94 million, surpassing the previous record held by Zinedine Zidane for 8 years. Real Madrid's president, Florentino Perez, also spent significant amounts on players like Kaká and Benzema to recreate the success of the Galacticos era. Ronaldo's contract made him the highest paid footballer, nearly doubling his earnings at Manchester United, and it included a release clause of €1 billion. On July 6, 2009, Ronaldo was presented to a record-breaking audience of 80,000 fans at the Santiago Bernabéu. Club legend Alfredo Di Stefano handed Ronaldo the number 9 shirt, as the legendary Raúl was still playing for Real Madrid at that time. Ronaldo made his debut against Deportivo La Coruña, scoring his first goal from the penalty spot. He continued his scoring spree, netting in his first 4 league games, a feat never achieved before at Real Madrid. It would also mark his debut for Real Madrid in the Champions League by scoring 2 free kicks. However, his impressive start to the season was halted when he suffered an ankle injury, forcing him to sit out for 7 weeks. Upon his return, the Ballon d'Or ceremony took place, where Messi outperformed him for the first time, and Ronaldo had to settle for second place. Despite Ronaldo's 7 goals in 6 Champions League matches, Real Madrid was eliminated in the round of 16. As the season came to a close, Real Madrid and Barcelona were separated by just 1 point, with Real Madrid drawing their final match and collecting 96 points, securing the second-place finish. This would have been a record-breaking season in terms of points if it weren't for Barcelona's 99 points. Despite Ronaldo's remarkable performances, which included 39 goal involvements in 35 games, he ended his first season with Real Madrid without winning any trophies. He always maintains a competitive spirit and strives to win, never changing his mindset. 2 years had passed since his last international competition, and it was time for the 2010 World Cup. Ronaldo was named the man of the match in all 3 group stage matches, but Portugal was once again eliminated in the first round, this time by Spain. During that World Cup, Ronaldo would go on to win the Golden Boot. Ronaldo then started the next season with a bang, scoring 4 goals in a game for the first time in his career against Racing Santander. He continued to shine, registering 3 more hat-tricks before the Ballon d'Or ceremony. However, despite his remarkable contribution of 65 goals in 59 games that year, he did not make it onto the podium. Real Madrid faced Barcelona multiple times that season, both in the Champions League and Copa del Rey, as well as in the league, playing a total of 4 matches against their arch-rivals in the same month. Ronaldo scored in the league game to secure a draw, and then he scored the winning goal in the final of the Copa del Rey, a magnificent header in extra time that brought the trophy to Madrid. However, Real Madrid was eliminated from the Champions League by Barcelona, who went on to win the tournament. Ronaldo ended the season with 3 more hat-tricks, including 4 goals against Sevilla. Despite his incredible achievement of scoring 92 points and breaking the goal-scoring record in the league, becoming the first player to score 40 league goals, Real Madrid did not win the league that year. Nevertheless, Ronaldo became the first player to win the Golden Boot in 2 different leagues. The following season, Ronaldo scored a staggering 46 league goals, leading Real Madrid to win the league with 100 points, a record-breaking feat. He scored a total of 60 goals in all competitions that season, including 10 in the Champions League. However, Real Madrid was knocked out in the semi-finals, with Ronaldo's 2 goals not being enough to save them against Bayer. One of the most notable moments of that season was Ronaldo's winning goal and iconic Calma Calma celebration in El Clásico. In the Euro 2012, Portugal was drawn into the group of death alongside Germany and the Netherlands. Despite the tough competition, Portugal advanced to the semi-finals, with Ronaldo scoring twice to turn the game around against the Netherlands. He was named the man of the match in the match against the Czech Republic, scoring the only goal of the game. Portugal faced Spain in the semi-finals, and although Ronaldo had several close scoring opportunities, neither team managed to score, leading the game to go into penalties. Portugal lost in the shootout, leaving them feeling they deserved more, especially considering their previous friendly match victory against Spain. Over the years, Ronaldo had experienced many disappointments, with Messi winning the last 3 Ballon d'Or awards, and it seemed like Messi was bound to win the next one as well, as Ronaldo came up just short of glory. However, the next season marked a shift in Ronaldo's career. He became even deadlier and more decisive. He started the season by scoring 2 goals to secure the Super Cup for Real Madrid in their match against Barcelona. He then scored his first Champions League hat-trick against Ajax. Later in the year, he became the first player to score in 6 consecutive El Clásico matches. In 2013, Ronaldo captained Real Madrid for the first time and also became the first non-Spanish player in 60 years to captain the team in El Clásico. Despite his impressive performances, Real Madrid failed to win La Liga and once again fell short in the Champions League, losing to Dortmund despite Ronaldo scoring 12 goals that season, 7 of them in the 6 knockout matches he played. The following season, Ronaldo was joined by Gareth Bale, who became the most expensive transfer in Ronaldo's career, forming the front 3 known as BBC, Bale, Benzema, and Cristiano. Ronaldo started the season with 32 goals in 22 matches, with his most memorable moment coming in the international playoff against Sweden, where he scored both goals in the first leg and a sensational hat-trick in the second leg, securing Portugal's spot in the World Cup. That year, Ronaldo contributed to 86 goals in 59 appearances and won his second Ballon d'Or. Despite not winning the league title, it was one of Ronaldo's most memorable years. In the Champions League, he started off with a remarkable hat-trick against Galatasaray and continued to score against Copenhagen and Juventus. He scored in all 6 group stage matches except for one that he missed due to injury. In the round of 16, Ronaldo scored 4 goals against Schalke, reaching a total of 13 goals, surpassing his previous records and only surpassed by Messi in terms of goals in a single tournament. However, Real Madrid was eliminated in the next round by Dortmund. Ronaldo's most unforgettable moment that season came in the Champions League final against Atletico Madrid, where he played through injury and helped Real Madrid secure their 10th Champions League title. Ronaldo finished the tournament with 17 goals, breaking records along the way. The World Cup that followed was Ronaldo's most underwhelming tournament as he played through 2 different injuries. Despite the physical challenges, he still managed to make crucial contributions for Portugal, but they were ultimately eliminated in the group stage due to goal difference. The next season started strong for Ronaldo as he scored both goals in the UEFA Super Cup victory against Sevilla. He continued his goal-scoring form by netting 15 goals in the first 8 league matches. Ronaldo ended the year by winning the Club World Cup and securing his 3rd Ballon d'Or. The 2014-2015 season would be the least impressive of his last 5 at Real Madrid. They would finish 2nd in the league and go out in the semi-finals as the event beat them by a single goal. Despite Ronaldo scoring 2 goals against them and finishing as the top scorer, it would also score 5 goals in a match for the first time in his career as he managed to score an 8-minute hat-trick against Granada. When it comes to goal scoring, the season would be one of his most impressive as he would win the Golden Shoe once again and beat his goal-scoring record, managing to score 61 goals that season. He was already 30 years old by then, which just should not be possible. After this season, Zidane would take over and he would completely change Ronaldo's play. He would show him that with his arrival, Ronaldo would lose his explosiveness and that he had to switch to a more central role where he did not depend on his strength as much and where he could develop his deadliness in front of goal. In summary, Zidane created a monster. By the beginning of the 2016-2017 season, Ronaldo would score his 320th goal for Real, becoming their all-time top scorer. It had taken 16 seasons and 741 matches for a player to achieve this mark. It only took Ronaldo a little more than 6 seasons and 310 matches to overtake it, as he managed more than 1 goal per game. From the start of this Champions League venture under Zidane, Ronaldo would look virtually unbeatable as he managed to score 11 goals in the 6 group stage matches he played. No player had ever managed to reach double figures in a group stage. Then he would score in both legs against Roma, but oddly enough, their next game against underdogs Wolfsburg would prove to be the most challenging. The first leg would be a disaster with Real losing to 0. They needed a comeback in the second leg, and of course, one man had to put his foot forward and show everyone how to be truly decisive. By the 17th minute of the second leg, Ronaldo had already scored twice. First, a top-in and then a header from a corner. They needed one more goal this time around. Ronaldo would be more patient, and by the 77th minute, it would be awarded a free kick. Cristiano Ronaldo. Beautiful. Beautiful. Something close to genius. He's turned the tie around all by himself. Another Champions League handshake. This could have been his most legendary Champions League campaign, but he would once again suffer fitness issues, missing out on the semi-final matches. However, he would come back in time for the final, where once again they would face Atletico Madrid. This would be the opposite of the first final. This time, Real would score early and Atletico Madrid would get the equalizer later on, but Real wouldn't budge in the same way Atletico did in 2014. The game would go all the way to a penalty shootout, where Ronaldo would save himself for last. By the fourth penalty, Juanfran would miss to give Real the advantage. It was time for Ronaldo to take on the penalty spot, and as per usual, he did it. Atletico's grave once again champions of Europe. It seemed like the perfect season, but this was nowhere near its peak. In the summer, Ronaldo would take on Euro 2016. No one gave much chance to Portugal as they had one of their most underwhelming lineups in decades, but someone once said, "When you have Ronaldo, you always have a chance." The first two games were underwhelming as Portugal only managed 2 draws against Iceland and Austria. Despite that, Portugal only needed to rely on themselves to advance to the quarterfinals, as long as they remained determined. However, the game started horribly as Portugal conceded a goal in the 19th minute. It took a while for Portugal to respond, but Ronaldo assisted Nani for a goal in the 42nd minute. Unfortunately, Hungary scored again just 5 minutes later. The back and forth continued as Ronaldo equalized the game with a superb backheel goal. Yet again, the tie was short-lived as Hungary took the lead once more. Fernando Santos subbed in Quaresma, a longtime friend known for their connection, and the duo didn't disappoint. With Quaresma's first touch on the ball, he crossed it to Ronaldo, who headed it in to settle the score at 3-3. Portugal finished in third place and barely made it to the last 16. In the knockout stage, Portugal faced Croatia, and the game went into extra time with no goals scored. Once again, Ronaldo played a crucial role as he took a shot on target, and Quaresma scored from the rebound, taking Portugal to the quarterfinals. Portugal still hadn't won a game in regular time, and the trend continued against Poland. Lewandowski scored in the second minute, but 18-year-old Renato Sanches scored the equalizer, and Portugal won on penalties. In the final, against France, Ronaldo had another shot at a Euro final. From an 18-year-old kid who cried on the pitch to a 32-year-old master of the game, Ronaldo's journey had come full circle. Unfortunately, the final started catastrophically as Ronaldo was forced to come out injured after just 25 minutes. Most players would crumble in such a situation, but not Ronaldo. He rose and spent the entire match yelling commands from the sidelines like a true captain. In the 79th minute of extra time, Eder scored the winning goal, and Portugal became European champions. It was the greatest night of Cristiano Ronaldo's career, showcasing his ability to never give up and achieve success against all odds. Despite the injury picked up during the Euro 2016 final, Ronaldo missed the first 3 matches of the season, including the European Super Cup. This year was a wild card in terms of his performances. Ronaldo excelled in the Club World Cup, becoming the first ever player to score a hat-trick in the final. However, his form in the Champions League was some of his worst. Despite scoring in the first 2 matches, he went on a 6-match goal drought until the quarterfinals. Meanwhile, Messi had already scored 11 goals, leaving Ronaldo 9 goals behind. Despite the tough competition, Ronaldo never believed in the impossible. In the next match against Bayern Munich, he initiated the comeback with 2 goals, and in the second leg, he scored a hat-trick against Manuel Neuer, making it 5 goals in 2 matches against the unbeatable goalkeeper. Ronaldo continued his remarkable form in the final against Juventus, where he needed 1 goal to match Lionel Messi's achievement of scoring against Gianluigi Buffon, one of the greatest goalkeepers of all time. Ronaldo wasted no time and scored with his first touch. He added 1 more goal to his tally, reaching 12 goals in total, surpassing Messi. This was his 5th consecutive season as the Champions League top scorer. Additionally, he helped Real Madrid win La Liga for the 2nd time. During the summer, Ronaldo participated in the Confederations Cup, But it was a disaster as Portugal lost in the first knockout match on penalties against Chile. Ronaldo left the competition early as his twins had just been born. He also took part in a memorable Spanish Super Cup at the start of the season. Although he started from the bench, he had a massive impact on the match. He quickly scored his first goal, but it was disallowed due to an offside call. Soon, Messi equalized, but Ronaldo immediately responded with a magnificent run and a shot from outside the box. He celebrated the goal by iconically taking off his shirt and showing his name to the fans, similar to what Messi had done in a previous El Clásico. As usual, he received a yellow card for his celebration. Ronaldo seemed unstoppable as he nearly scored 2 minutes later but was stopped when Ousmane Dembélé pushed him in the penalty box. Commentators called for a penalty, but the referee controversially concluded that Ronaldo had simulated a foul and showed him a second yellow card, resulting in his dismissal. Ronaldo, understandably frustrated, pushed the referee. In an instant, what could have been a perfect night was ruined by incompetent referees. Ronaldo received a 5-game ban as a consequence. Despite the setback, Ronaldo maintained his form in the Champions League. He started with 2 goals against Apoel, 2 goals against Borussia Dortmund, and 1 goal each in the 2 matches against Tottenham. He scored 2 more against Apoel to end the group stage with a total of 9 goals in 6 matches, becoming the first player ever to score in all group stage matches. In the last 16, he scored 3 goals against PSG, including a puzzling penalty where the ball rose from the ground before he struck it. Before this, Ronaldo traveled to Paris to receive his 5th Ballon d'Or in a special ceremony on the Eiffel Tower, equaling Messi's record. The quarterfinals against Juventus became some of the most important and memorable matches of Ronaldo's career. In less than 3 minutes, Ronaldo opened the scoring. Juventus supporters couldn't help but admire him as their opponent. In the 64th minute, Ronaldo scored the most iconic goal of his career, performing a technically perfect bicycle kick after an amazing run. Even Buffon congratulated him, jokingly asking how old he was, to which Ronaldo replied, "Not too bad for a 33-year-old." In the second leg, Ronaldo salvaged a ball and was fouled by Benatia, resulting in a penalty. Buffon lost his composure and was sent off. Ronaldo hammered the penalty into the top corner in the 98th minute, securing Real Madrid's place in the semi-finals. This marked Ronaldo's 11th consecutive game scoring in the Champions League, breaking Van Nistelrooy's previous record of 9 consecutive games. Although heavily marked in the semi-finals against Bayern Munich, Ronaldo couldn't find the net. Nevertheless, Real Madrid narrowly defeated the Germans and reached the Champions League final. The final followed a similar story to the semi-finals, and a horrendous performance by Liverpool goalkeeper Loris Karius made it easy for Real Madrid to win their 3rd consecutive Champions League title, something that hadn't happened in 42 years. Ronaldo finished as the tournament's top scorer with 16 goals, the second best tally in history, surpassed only by his own record. This final made Ronaldo realize that it might have been his last match for Real Madrid. Amidst the swirling rumors surrounding him, he would go on to participate in the 2018 World Cup. His journey began with a match against Spain, where an early foul on Ronaldo in the penalty box resulted in an excellent start for Portugal as he converted the penalty. Despite Diego Costa's equalizer, Ronaldo responded with a goal from outside the box, aided by a pass from De Gea. However, Diego Costa struck again to level the score once more, and Portugal fell behind when Nacho scored a powerful goal for Spain. The pivotal moment arrived in the 88th minute when Ronaldo stepped up to take a free kick and, as expected, delivered a superb curling shot to salvage a draw. This remarkable performance marked the first ever World Cup hat-trick against Spain. In their second match, Portugal faced Morocco and secured a victory with a single goal by Cristiano. Their final group stage match ended in a draw, and Portugal qualified for the round of 16, where they were defeated by Uruguay by a narrow margin of 1 goal. Following the World Cup, the rumors turned out to be true as Ronaldo left Real Madrid in a historic transfer worth €100 million. The warm reception from Juventus fans touched his heart as the 34-year-old Ballon d'Or winner embarked on a new journey in Italy. This move made him the most expensive player over 30 years of age and the most expensive transfer in Italy's history. In his first season with Juventus, Ronaldo's goal tally decreased, but he still impressed by scoring all of Juventus goals in the Champions League knockout stage, placing him second among all players in the competition despite their exit in the quarterfinals. While it was challenging to carry Juventus single-handedly, his most iconic game came in the round of 16. Facing Atletico Madrid, who had been a nemesis to Ronaldo's teams in the past, he led the comeback with a powerful header for the first goal and another header that crossed the goal line despite the efforts of Atletico's goalkeeper. Ronaldo sealed the victory by scoring a penalty in the 86th minute. In his first year in Italy, he won the Best Forward and Best Player awards in the league, along with the Super Cup and Serie A titles. Moreover, he became the first player ever to win 3 out of the top 5 European leagues. During the summer, Ronaldo faced a new challenge as Portugal reached the Final Four of the UEFA Nations League. In the match against Switzerland, Ronaldo's usual brilliance propelled Portugal to the final, and Gonçalo Guedes scored the winning goal, allowing Ronaldo to lift his second international trophy. He finished as the tournament's top scorer and won the Best Goal award, as all the goals on the podium were scored by him. Moving to the present year, Ronaldo, now 35 years old, is the top scorer in Europe with 25 goals in 25 matches. He scored in 11 consecutive league games, tying the all-time record in Serie A, and provided assists in every league game from December to July, despite a dip in form after the mid-season break. Ronaldo once again secured the league title for Juventus, becoming the first Juventus player to score 30-plus league goals since 1952 and setting a new record with 37 goals in a season. However, Juventus suffered an early exit from the Champions League, despite Ronaldo's exceptional performance against Lyon. He ended the season as the only Juventus player to score in the Champions League knockout stage. Ronaldo's career is truly awe-inspiring, with over 700 goals, nearly 100 more than the combined total of Griezmann, Salah, and Bale. He surpassed every European player in international goals, scoring nearly 3 times as many goals as Diego Maradona himself. Ronaldo has scored 42 goals beyond the quarterfinals of the Champions League, while his closest rival, Lionel Messi, managed only 20. He has received 55 individual awards and won 31 titles throughout his career. Notably, he scored more goals with his head and left foot than Ronaldinho did at club level in his entire 17-year professional career. Even at 35, Ronaldo remains one of the top candidates for the Ballon d'Or. He made it to the UEFA Team of the Season for the first time ever, alongside legends like Cafu and Nesta, and continues to be included even now, alongside players like Kylian Mbappé and Alexander-Arnold. His unmatched longevity is remarkable. Regardless of whether Cristiano Ronaldo is considered the greatest of all time or not, his career serves as an inspiration to everyone. He has shown that with determination and relentless effort, one can transcend perceived limits and achieve greatness. Ronaldo is not just a legendary footballer, he is the epitome of excellence in sports. If we were to design the prototype of the ideal footballer, it would be Cristiano Ronaldo. No matter how long this documentary may be, it is nearly impossible to fully capture the astonishing nature of his career. His impact is immeasurable, with countless records, achievements, and the ability to inspire everyone who witnesses his journey.